Can't tell. How I imagined depressed people looked like. How depressed people actually look. Yet it's unfortunate that most people can't really get the help they need because most of the time, especially for men, we are told to feel sad is to be a pussy or something of the sort. That's why I'm fighting it alone. If I ever told my parents that I have depression, they would be crushed. It's fucking hard having to act okay all the time. At least I can be myself at college in my dorm room. But that's also the only place I'm alone with my thoughts, and that's not good. Dude, the dorm room is a trap. If you find yourself becoming complacent / spending too much time in the dorm room, fucking leave. Go on a walk, call a friend, call your parents, go out to eat, IDGAF. Just don't be in your room alone. Hours turn into days, days turn into weeks. I wish you the best, man. PMS are always open if you want to chat. Edit. I'm cutting down my screen time, so just saw these awards, thank you kind Redditors. This need more attention, that was my life for 5 years and still is. I gave myself an excuse that working 2 jobs and going to college is enough. It isn't. You need friends, you need to socialize, and you need to get out. After graduating, I realized I practically completely isolated myself even before COVID. It is miserable, and no amount of personal success will come close to having a good support / social life. Life is way too unpredictable. With social distancing, it's kind of been a weird time to try and break that habit, but I'm hoping video chatting friends and family more often will help until things are normal again. Your comment made me snap out of the haze for today though, thank you for sharing the positivity, my dude. COVID definitively pointed out these problems for a lot of people. I wouldn't say it's good because most of them couldn't go out and didn't have friends remaining to video chat with even after realizing, but I hope that this acknowledgement will make it useful, at least for sensibilization. COVID made me realize I don't have any close friends besides my best friend who I live with. No one talks to me or keeps up. I can't even attempt to make friends because of social distancing, and even without it I don't think I know how. TV is my trap. It distracts me from my thoughts, but I binge so compulsively that I neglect practically every other aspect of my life. That's what I do with video games. Wish I have known this 2 years ago. I've been on the lowest point of my life and now I'm just looking for a purpose. I am not better than 2 years ago, I gotta tell you that, but I think I'll get there eventually. Thanks man, I seriously appreciate the concern and advice. Going for walks help a lot, but I'll definitely work on getting out more. I completely agree. I spent 1 year in a dorm and it was all a haze pretty much. I don't even know how close it came to killing me. I probably slept 60 to 80% of that year. You should never have to fight alone. If you need to talk, then find a support group. Anonymity is choice, and if you don't want them to know you, that's fine, but I would not recommend you fighting that fight alone because most people lose. I almost did myself as well, and it ended me in the hospital, and turns out I damaged part of my brain, giving myself epilepsy for the rest of my life. Never fight alone, find help, it's the only reason I'm still here today. I'm very sorry to hear that your pain got to be that bad. I have tried to commit that act a few times, but I was scared. The last time I did it, I wound in a mental institution for a few months, and that didn't help. What always helps is to have people listen to you, but they can't do that unless you talk to them first. You can't expect someone to just save you out of the blue if you're not showing any signs. You're absolutely right. Having someone to talk to that listens and cares about what you're feeling makes life so much easier. I may have a few wounds left mentally and physically from those times, but life is better than it's ever been for me. I wish now I would have searched for help sooner, because when it happened no one knew and I really thought they did. I'm sorry to hear you were in a mental institution for that long. Had a friend that was there for 3 weeks and he said it was hell. Many universities offer some level of therapy, though I can't speak to the quality. I highly recommend you at least trying it. A lot of people, myself included, at one point, have a tendency to write it off, because what can a therapist tell us that we don't already know? But at the very least it feels so cathartic to honestly talk about depression, besides to random strangers on the internet. Hey, I went through really bad anxiety that led to depression my freshman year at college. I toughed it out and made it through my first year and transferred in state to be closer to my family and friends, and that really helped me. Anyways, I had thoughts that I'd never feel normal or happy again, and 5 years later I'm thriving. Things can change. Don't lose hope. Shoot me a message if you ever want to talk. One of my best friends suffered from depression. He was one of the happiest people I knew. He was friendly to everyone and my first real friend. I was so shocked to find out he was depressed. It made me think how many people suffered from this condition and people wouldn't be able to tell. He was one of the smartest people I knew and would sometimes hint about how he doesn't get life and can't put himself over the fact that there is no real purpose. I think about that a lot. He died 2 years ago. I miss him. He took his own life. I feel like a big problem is the fact that depressed people don't want to make others miserable, so they hide and swallow their pain, like your friend did. But because of this they are left alone with their messed up thoughts, which can often lead to more pain. If the only voice you hear is the one telling you you're shit, you'll eventually believe them. You put it in the exact right words. I agree. He wanted everyone to be happy because he knew how painful it is to feel sad. That's the one thing I can't do. I want to end it so much, but I'm not gonna be the one to pull the trigger. I'm not about to disappoint my family like that. If I somehow die in an accident or any other way, then that's all I ask. I'm ready to be taken away. Just waiting for someone else to do it. I felt the same way. I will tell you what I wish I could have told my friend. You matter, even if you don't think you do. Life has a purpose, and if it doesn't have one to you, then your purpose is to find yours. Life doesn't have rules, so you can make up your own. Happiness is hard but not impossible, and you deserve it too. And I am also struggling with many things. But I forgave my friend. And I know that you also deserve the love and happiness you bring to people. Accept it, you are an awesome individual deserving of love. I don't really have depression, but I think I feel how it must be like, 'cause sometimes I feel lonely AF. Many of my friends are like, yeah, I'm so depressed. Yes, I'm depressed 24/7. TBH, being depressed nowadays has been sort of a trend, and people feel being depressed is cool, and 80% of them are just faking it and are normal mood swings. Personally, I feel like that if you have depression, you want to be left alone unless someone themselves come and try to help you. 'Cause in that condition you're just too tired to explain it all to someone. Now I won't go and say share it all with someone else like everyone does, 'cause if you had someone you would have already done it. It fucks up your trust with other people. I'm just saying this so that you may feel a little good. To know if it helped you though, I tried my best so you may feel understood, and know that you're not alone. BTW, sorry for grammar mistakes if any, I'm not a native English speaker. It's really nice that you're trying to understand and reach out. It does feel like it's a buzzword or a trendy thing to say. I certainly wouldn't announce my depression to the world, no more than any other embarrassing medical condition. However, if your friends are just using it to say they feel sad, they deserve support too. Most everybody gets a little lonely and sad sometimes. But yeah, if your brain chemistry is genuinely out of balance, it's different than sadness or loneliness. Those just become symptoms. And the worst is when, added to faking all the time, you have to cheer up your friends because they are a bit sad about something insignificant. You'll never know my pain, hee, sorry. I try not to get trapped in the thinking that my shit is worse than your shit, but sometimes, just sometimes, it's like, oh my fucking god, I can't spare the nothing I don't have for you when I don't even have it for me right now. For your information, you're never under any obligation to cheer anyone up. It's what you're supposed to do as a good friend on a good day, but don't push yourself to help others at the expense of yourself. That's a logical fallacy. Psychologists don't care what you have to say because you pay them. They're genuinely empathetic people who want to help as many people as they can. Unfortunately, because we're a currency-reliant civilization, they have to make a living. Also, they can only have so many patients, and so they charge to make a living and to be able to have a reasonable clientele size. This is such a succinct statement that applies to so many different careers and industries. My wife works for a small non-profit and has to struggle with their ability to do more with the little they have, while facing criticisms about their services not being free. To sum it up, everyone have it hard in this life. Some people still want to help others while they themselves are struggling. Some doesn't see this because of their own struggle. Let's just help each other by being kind on others. This. Can't agree more. There's a limit to number of person a psychologist could help at a time, not to mention they're also human with basic needs. The flip side of this is that they have to want to help, since the money isn't the motivator. If your psychologist doesn't like you, they won't help if they don't feel like it. Oftentimes they won't even make it known they're not helping, they'll just keep taking your money until you realize they've checked out. Why not both? Cue imaginary friends cheering. I have this shit and is awful. Not because depression is a shit disease, but because there are people who cannot get help because they appear normal and happy. But everything is just a defense mechanism, because if I feel I'm the worst shit in the fucking universe, I want to help people to not feel like me, or be a burden to others. And the people around, even family, hardly understand what is happening. And this kind of behavior is extremely dangerous for the person, and you don't have to look far to see this. Just Google about the situation the late Robin Williams was in and you will have a better understanding about this shit illness. Real men don't cry, so, you know. We, including myself, just take everything that is upsetting us and swallow it way down into your gut, and don't ever talk about it again, and sooner or later you'll die. That's what it is to be a good OL country boy. Well, you can cry silently in the night when you know everyone else in the house is asleep. The number of depressed people who typed up a comment to this post and then deleted it all before posting must be really high. Showing your true feelings is a sign of weakness for many. Depression doesn't go away, it's always there, lingering in the dark recesses of your heart and mind even if outwardly you are exuberantly happy. For me, it's been dealing with death in my family, especially my dad's. He's been gone now 13 years and I honestly don't think about him too much anymore, but it's little things like seeing a box of shake and bake at the store. My mom died when I was 8, so dad did the best he could, but that's something he'd get at least once a week with pork chops. When those memories hit, all of a sudden, I'm reduced to utter emptiness, tears well in my eyes, and I know I'm going to miss him for the rest of my life. I think most if not all depressed people put on a brave face until they are in bed alone. It also helps us get away from cringe comments like "stop being sad" or "man, I was so depressed too yesterday when my phone died." I believe my friend is depressed. I mean, there's just way too much evidence, and so I try to muster up as much kindness I can towards him. Last year I made friends to the girl that kept bullying me from elementary. Turns out she's trying to look tough, not weak, and a softball if you get to know her. Depression fucks with our emotions. Many people are capable of hiding misunderstanding and ignoring those emotions, they still won't disappear. That's why I feel depression is really dangerous. You might not even know someone needs help until it's too late. I am depressed, but then yesterday when I met my friend, I seemed so happy I surprised myself. I kept smiling, laughing, and joking. It occurred to me that maybe my friend must have thought I'm so happy, but it's actually the opposite. Depression is real, but most of you claiming you have it are self-diagnosed, and just cause you're upset doesn't mean you have depression. Not saying you don't have it either, just saying that depression is a heavy word, you shouldn't use it so easily. Just cause I'm not having a good time of it doesn't mean everyone else has to suffer. Even my existential dread is funny to me sometimes. Life, the ultimate joke. Why do I relate so much? Well, I'm not sure if I can speak for everyone, but sometimes depression is the top images. At least at night when you're alone. There's already enough people here, so I'll just leave it at that. Both are. Everything just feels so numb, like having no emotions or feelings about anything at all. Stopped caring about consequences of actions. May sound narcissistic a bit, don't care. Recently noticed that a simple smile is becoming rarer. Maybe people change, but for me this is so visible. People give advices like talk to someone, open up. Those are so useless. The moment you try to open up, they bring up something of their own and successfully make the whole conversation about themselves, like, bro, this is nothing, I had a friend. It feels so much better just to lay down a bit, put the headphones and play some soothing music. For those few minutes, everything just seems disappear. No tension, no despair. But that too ends. A few minutes. Sorry for the jumping of the themes in the paragraphs. I'm living in constant agony. On a more serious note, Michael Scott was truly depressed. Bless his soul. Best character ever. For whoever need to know, if you feel depressed because people don't like you, that's not depression, that's desperation, and people are not worth it. Only care for who cares about you and shows you by action. See the true worth of your feelings so you'll stop corrupting yourself, so you can be able to really see your life and how good it is, how blessed you are. Sometimes we are depressed, sometimes we are deeply sad, sometimes we feel constantly dissatisfied, sometimes we are in pain, but the most important thing is to realize and know that all of that can heal and we can let go of it. Life is pain and suffering. What's up? It's really sad. Depressed people in front of the public are hiding their feelings. When they're alone, they expose their feelings. A few years ago, I used to be depressed as well. It used to be like I was a different person in public just so people don't ask me questions like, "Are you okay?" That was a very bad idea. I should have went ahead and asked for help. Thankfully I recovered. But if you also feel like you act like someone else just so people don't ask about why you are sad, don't do that. Seek help. Seek someone to talk to who would listen and maybe even try to help you out of it. Though, check on your loved ones regularly and try to be nice to them. You never know what is going on under the happy facade. The thing about depression is that many people who suffer from it become so used to feeling down that they become masters at hiding it. They put on a mask of sorts, to hide their pain and prevent people from seeing how hurt they are inside. I should know. I've had depression for several years now. Let me say, it isn't fun. I have some days where I feel alright, and others where I feel completely indifferent to the world around me. In case any of you were curious or something I don't know. LOL, bottom was me today, dancing and acting like I was having fun at a party and then having a cry in the toilets for 30 minutes. Time to retreat to my room for a week. Reminder, to always check in on your happiest friends. Why won't people stop treating depression like a fucking meme? It's not funny by any means, and shit like this just hurts people with actual depression. Yet it really is like that. My friend told me a few months ago that when we were driving together at night and I told him that I've been feeling depressed, can't say I suffer from depression cause I never went to a psychiatrist, that he was shook and felt like a bad friend cause he never sensed any indication of it. I mean, there are people whose depression look like in the upper pictures, we shouldn't forget about that. Robin Williams, I think the saddest people always try their hardest to make people happy because they know what it's like to feel absolutely worthless and they don't want anyone else to feel like that. It's ironic that people think I'm having a good day because I'm joking a lot when I'm actually hurting more than usual. To be honest, I'm like the first pictures when I'm alone and the last 3 is me on public trying so hard to not be me. Depressed people know how it is to feel that way. That's why most depressed people try to make others happy by laughing, so those don't experience the same or worse as them. That's just the way I see it. I myself am not clinically depressed, but just rock bottom lonely and sad. I really try to make others laugh, feel happy and not feel alone. They actually look both sad and happy. They're normal people and they experience emotions just like any other human. The difference is that the disease makes them feel insufferable pain. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment Reddit Story Time for more Reddit stories.